Waiting for it to say recording. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for spending your Tuesday morning with us. I appreciate it. It is officially September. Welcome to September. This is what it looks like. Look around. It's pretty nice. Not bad. But that means a couple of things, right? It means you got how many months? We got 3 months to put things under contract to get paid out by the end of the year, right? We got 4 months of the year, but 3 months to put things under contract. So it's kind of a reboot time, right? It's kind of okay. Summer's over-ish. Still enjoying a little bit of the weather, but let's get going. So I appreciate seeing y'all here. Real quick, a big thank you to Russ and Nalani for doing the sales meeting when I was gone. I appreciate that. Heard it went really, really well. I do have the video for that. So if you missed it, my intent is to post it to YouTube today when I also post this meeting to YouTube. So you'll have that and access to check that out. They did cover some very useful things. You really should, if you weren't able to make that meeting, check that out when you see it in your email. For the West Seattle agents, you may have seen an email that went out to from Sean Stolte having to do with this year's kind of yearly West Seattle real estate agents golf tournament in West Seattle. That tournament has been renamed the Dawn Brighter Classic, obviously in remembrance of Dawn. Really a nice gesture, cool thing. That is going to be September 10th. That's a Thursday. I've got here tee times are between 1 and 2:30 at the West Seattle Golf Course. It's $100 to play. Some of that money will go towards the prizes. A good chunk of that money is going to benefit West Seattle Helpline. So they've got a long drive and a closest to the pin and a first, second, and third place also that'll have some prizes. If you've got more questions about that, get a hold of Sean Stolte quickly, because again, that's September 10th, just 10 days from now, and I know that they want to get people registered as soon as possible. All right, really briefly, I don't want to hammer on this, but we got to talk about paperwork. I hate it. We don't want to talk about paperwork, but we're going to talk about paperwork. And this is why. With COVID and everybody trying their best to limit the number of times that they come into the office and into interaction with different people, I think that I'm confident that our habits have maybe gotten a little bit out of whack as a group, as a whole. Of course, many of you are very, very good at this, but as a whole, we're seeing some tendencies, and I just want to reiterate, when you get something under contract, it needs to be turned in within 2 days, 2 business days, right? It needs to be turned in. We've got to have it. And the reason that I'm mentioning this is actually not only because we're seeing things later than 2 days, but we're actually having quite a few situations where folks are asking us for a CD for commission, and we don't even have the paperwork yet. This might be a couple weeks into the transaction. This might be, and has recently been on multiple occasions, something where it's like a few days before closing, and we're being asked for a CD and we don't have paperwork. Now, I just want to explain one thing real quick. When you send your paperwork in, just so you understand the process on the back end, when you email in or scan through one of our imagers, your paperwork into SkySlope, it goes into a queue, right? It goes into an email box that either Maura or Jody in Burien have access to, or Cindy for our West Seattle office. It's an email inbox, right? Everything goes in order. So as you can imagine, if we're super busy that day or the last few days, that inbox, when you send that in, it might be 10 back, right? It's not necessarily going to immediately get looked at. That's not reasonable, right? It goes in order as they come in, they get processed. So if you need a CD right away, oh, good reminder, let us know, right? If there's an emergency and you're like, hey, this deal closes tomorrow and I need this CD, shoot me a message, shoot the OA a message, shoot Cindy a message, give her a call and just say, hey, just a heads up, sorry, last minute, but I need a CD for this, right? So that they know to go find that item, because otherwise they're just going to go through it in the order that it came in. But what happens is that these get put in or brought in late, and it makes a huge mess across the board. Remember, 2 days, 48 hours, 2 business days. If it's on the weekend, right, you get a little bit more. But you've got to get those things turned in. Also, a good time to remind everybody, we are way overdue for an audit. They generally are every couple of years, and we haven't had one in 2 years and 9 months. 8-9 months, something like that. With COVID, I'm sure they're behind, but it's going to happen. And when they come in, they grab 10 random files. And if one of those files is yours and you don't have the CD or you don't have the earnest money receipt, you don't have your full transaction turned in and it's supposed to be closing, any of those things, it is a pain in the rear end, not only for us, but definitely for the agent. And it could result in fines and all kinds of problems. So please, the paperwork is important. I'm bringing it up because we're seeing a tendency for things to change on that, or to be delayed. Make sure that you email it to the SkySlope email. Don't send it to the OAs. Don't send it to Cindy. Don't send it to Hillary. That's not the process. It's got to go through the SkySlope thing. Otherwise, it could get lost very easily. All right, on from there. Okay, a couple things. One, this is a West Seattle item. The elevator. Oh my goodness. Anybody curious what in the world's going on with the elevator? It's done. It's nobody. They're not even working on it. There's one part that they don't have, and they had to order, and that is not going to be here until the 21st of September. And so anyway, it'll be a few days after that before they can bring somebody back out. So yes, it's ready, but no, we can't use it yet. Next thing, keys. Let's talk about keys for a second. Both office staff are asking about who has got which keys. If you have, in West Seattle, if you have a 51 key, or you have a key that opens the storage facility where we've got paper and those types of products, if you have a key that opens anything other than your personal office, please let us know. Same in Burien. Some folks may have a master key. We don't know who has those keys, we've come to find. And so we just want a list of who's got what. So that would be great. So shoot me an email, let me know who's got what. That would be super helpful. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Printer, a printer thing came up. Okay, so do us a favor, please. If you are one of the many agents that use our printers to print labels, right? Cool, awesome. Use your labels, pump them through, print them out. We had a situation where one of the printers was having an issue with some shading on copies that were coming out. We brought the technician out. Technician opened everything up and said, oh my gosh, you're super lucky. First of all, I know exactly what the problem is. Second of all, the problem happened in a place that I can clean it. And what the issue was is that one of those label pages had been run through, he believes, maybe twice. So, you know, if you've got maybe, 5 pages of labels and then one page has got like, a few at the top, right? So you print those all out and then all of a sudden you've got, a page that still has most of the labels. So you could reuse that page, turn it over and send it back through the printer the next time, right? Next month, you're going to run those labels again. You send it back through the printer. The problem with that is apparently that the adhesive on some of those labels, when they're heated up the second time, can have issues and ooze out or, whatever. And it was sticking to the printer. Apparently, if that happens in a certain process or point in the process of the imagers, it can't be easily fixed, and it is extremely expensive to deal with. So at any rate, just please, if you're doing labels in the printers and you have a page that wasn't totally used up, please just, that's waste. I know, I get it, but let's go ahead and not use that page again. It could potentially cost thousands of dollars to fix that issue. So anyway, just a heads up there. I think it's a great time for a reminder. I was talking to an agent last week, and they were bummed out, to say the least. They had a friend who was selling a house, and they thought for sure they had this lockdown.
Yes, no, nothing.
Oh, hold on a second. I'm gonna mute everybody. Looks like somebody jumped off mute. Okay, so this was a friend of theirs. They had the listing. They were very confident in it. But when they went to go and talk to this seller, good friend, lockdown listing, they realized that something was definitely up, and they realized that maybe they hadn't actually brought all of the information and everything that they needed to show and share just how great they are and to really be in a competitive situation. They weren't expecting to be in competition. And ultimately, it cost them the listing. Now, if you are like me, have been in the business for a long time, this has probably happened to you once. It really generally only happens once because you learned that lesson. If you have not had this happen to you, please remember that when you are expecting a listing from a friend or family member, that you still want to go through your very best process, right? Even if you think you have a listing on lockdown, you really still want to go through and make certain you are giving them your very, very best, explaining the process, showing all of the marketing that you do, explaining your differentiators, really treating them like you would any other client, especially one that was going to be competing. Of course, you want to make sure that you get that listing. You want to make sure that they don't go somewhere else. You also, remember, you do want your friends and family to see just how good you are. Right? They might assume you're good. They might use you because you're friends and family. They might know that you're good, whatever it is. But if you can show them, then you're going to have a better chance of getting those referrals anyway, right? So at any rate, it's just a good time to remember, hey, don't go lax. Don't take a step back. Don't go easy on a listing that you think you have locked up with a friend or family member, because you may ultimately find out you maybe weren't as big a lock as you thought that you were. And if you didn't do a great job in explaining what you do and how great you are, reasonably so, that client might go somewhere else. That friend or family might go somewhere else. So at any rate, good reminder. Two more quick things and then we'll get to stats. One, I just wanted to mention, if you didn't watch Annie Fitzsimmons's video last Friday, all right, cool. But it was a great video. It talked about earnest money deposits. And remember that if your earnest money deposit, if you don't make that deposit on time, that the seller can squash the deal, right? If it's not deposited within the right amount of time, seller can walk away. And in a market like this, where there's so many offers and offers that are coming in as backup offers, or people that are, bummed that they missed out on a house that they didn't make an offer soon enough about, maybe a seller does want to back out. So getting that earnest money deposited on time is important, but that's not why I'm bringing it up. Most of us know this, but what I really loved about that video is the little gem at the end. The little gem at the end where Annie said, hey, just a reminder though, if you represent the seller and the buyer does not deposit the earnest money on time, let's say it's got to be deposited by Thursday, right? And they don't deposit it by Thursday. And you as the listing agent don't make action on that mistake on their part, and they go ahead and deposit that earnest money on Friday or Monday or 2 weeks from now. If you have not made action to cancel the transaction, to terminate the transaction before the buyers make it right, there's nothing that you can do as a listing agent, okay? They have remedied that mistake and there is no grounds to cancel the contract. So you can't hold that over them throughout the entirety of the contract. It was very interesting to me, and I knew this because I had a situation in the past where actually on a purchase that I was buying, I did not deposit the earnest money in time. Can you bet? The real estate, I didn't deposit earnest money in time, but I did deposit it the very next day. And then the seller came back later. He wanted to sell to somebody else for more money, and he tried to get out of the transaction. And I said, no, you can't do that because I have remedied the situation. He said, no, that's not true. And we got in this big argument. At any rate, at the end of the day, it's just a good reminder. If you think you might want to cancel a transaction because the earnest money wasn't deposited on time, you must do that before the buyer remedies the situation. The minute that the buyer remedies that situation, it's off the table. You don't get that chance. So just a good reminder there. I thought that was a good little nugget at the end of her video. And then lastly, just a reminder, at the end of this meeting, we'll be stopping the recording and letting people do your new and price reduced. So if you've got those or you want to hear about those, make sure that you stick around at the end for that. All right, let's talk about some weekly stats. So it's been a couple of weeks since I have been on with y'all. And really the word for the week on stats is steady. It's just steady, right? Your active listings, there's a fairly stable flow of active listings really for the last 2 months, which the one, maybe if there's one interesting part of the stats today, it's that, the listings have been pretty steady over the last couple of months throughout the summer. But in last year, in a more normal market in 2019, you saw as the summer was progressing, you saw that the homes on market, the new actives, just declining. In fact, so we got numbers that are going straight right now, more or less. And we've got numbers last year that were declining. And that gap between the two has grown to last week's was about 50%. 50% more listings going active this year, week over week, than last year. And it's been about from 30% to 50% is that pie. I can't really. Yeah, you get the idea. At any rate, it's growing. The discrepancy is growing. Now, in 2019, we know that more homes came on the market in September, as they do in a normal market after the kids are back in school. We start to see an increase. So it'll be interesting to see what happens now with the COVID and how that relates. But really pretty steady stuff. We look at pending stats, steady. We look at sold stats, steady. I mean, week over week over week for the last month. In some cases, multiple months. Showing activity, again, remember, all-time highs. We know this. I've beat this really hard. More people going into more houses during a pandemic than ever before. It's crazy. It's happening. It's real. That's what the numbers say. And that is staying very steady also. Steady through August. When could you say that before? Steady through August? Usually August is like, right, everybody's trying to get summer in. Steady through August, folks. Steady through August. So there you go. That's your weekly stats. All right, get your calendars out, your phones, whatever you need to do some calendar stuff. We've got a lot coming up. We've got a lot of great stuff. We are going to kick off a lot of great stuff coming up tomorrow with the start of Jumpstart for this run. Remember, Jumpstart used to be 2 weeks, 4 total days. Now, because of COVID, we're doing it on Zoom, or I think it's on Zoom platform. And it is 3 hours a day, twice a week, generally. So Monday, Wednesday is what it is. New agents are absolutely have to take the class. Veteran agents are highly encouraged to jump on, learn some new stuff, remember some stuff, get re-engaged. Again, just get a jump start on your last quarter, right? It's really not a bad idea. If you are a veteran agent and you did not get the invite for that and you'd like to attend, let me know. It'd be great. We'll get you in. Labor Day is next Monday. So a couple things. One, right? Legal holiday for computation of time. Doesn't count as a day. Also, there will be no staff in the offices next Monday. That is a staff holiday, so we will be closed next Monday. September 10th. Not often do I talk to you about a clock hour class that we're not providing, and that costs money because, as you all know, I really like paying for your classes and making sure that we are getting you education at no cost to you. That's really important to me, and I think important to you. But this is not that, but something that I thought was interesting for some of you, potentially. September 10th, SEBA is doing a purchase and sale agreement class. If you don't have any experience in commercial, but you think, hey, I might want to kind of know something, or I might have something coming up in the future, maybe having some baseline information wouldn't be a bad idea. And sure, getting some clock hours, that's not bad either. That is on the 10th from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. It's 4 clock hours for you. It costs $80 for non-members. So that's if you don't have a SEBA membership, which we'll talk about in a second, or it's $70 if you do have a SEBA membership. So not a big difference. Again, $80 basically for 4 clock hours if you want to learn something about the commercial purchase and sale agreement, how that works. This is a good opportunity for you. Again, if you did not see this email come through your inbox, I didn't send it out. SEBA sent it out. If you didn't see it, let me know. I would be happy to share that with you. If you're thinking to yourself, hey, how do I get hooked up with SEBA? Maybe I do want a SEBA account. Great question. Glad you asked. We have a great discount through our company because we have a lot of agents that are on that. So we've negotiated a group rate kind of. So it fluctuates a little bit, but generally it's around $22, $23 a month. Depending on how many people are active members at the time. The cool thing about the SEBA membership is that you can jump in and jump out whenever you want. Okay, you can jump in for a month or two if you've got a listing or you want to search things for a client or something like that. And then when you're done with that client, if you're not doing any more commercial stuff, boom, you jump back out. You don't pay the fee, and you can jump in and out multiple times a year. Whatever you want to do there. So if you're interested in that, chat with your OA in your office. They can definitely help you out with that. We've got more. September 17th, September 1/7, from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. This is a clock hour class that we are bringing to you at no cost to you that I think is really going to be interesting. Kyle Johansson with InTrust Funding is going to come and talk about hard money. How does it work? What do you look for if you get an offer from somebody with hard money? What is the process behind that? And what should you be paying attention to as an agent? If you don't know anything about hard money, you should be on this class. Please, please. Later today, an invite will go out, a calendar invite with information and a link to the Zoom class for that. And again, as we've seen with different instructors, we don't know exactly what's going to be required. So expect to be on camera the whole time, right? And engaged, because that's how you are generally with the class, but we don't know what the requirements are going to be there. So check that out. Again, that is September 17th, 1 to 4. September 22nd, a little bit out, 3 weeks, not bad. It will be our first annual vendor fair. We are bringing in some awesome vendors to talk to you about their products. We have grabbed some really cool companies, different things for marketing, different things for lead gen, different things for, it's not a photography company, it's not a title company. Sorry guys, it's not. These are different things to help you grow your business in terms of lead generation or in terms of just all kinds of stuff. We've got people from Outbound Engines, Offers.com, Formations, Box Brownies. If you think Box Brownies is about brownies, you're wrong. Check them out. Really cool stuff. They do some really, really neat stuff for agents, and that does have to do with marketing and graphics and photos. Anyway, we got a full day planned for you of 30-minute, well, really 20-minute chunks throughout the day. So at 10 o'clock, there's one vendor will talk for 20 minutes. We'll have a 10-minute, 3 minutes of questions and answers, a few minutes of a break, and then on to the next one. And you can jump on and off all day long, catch whichever vendors really work for you. And within the next week, we'll have a flyer out that will have all the vendors' names and kind of a description of what each is. So you can kind of plan that day. But just assume, hey, a lot of time on the 22nd, you're probably going to want to check out a lot of these different vendors. So anyway, pretty cool deal. Great idea. Staff's working really, really hard on this, and I think it is going to be super cool. All right, last thing for your calendars. Agent Appreciation Day 2020, right? I mean, come on, we haven't forgotten, right? You're not going to not do Agent Appreciation Day just because we can't come together physically in person. It stinks. It's a bummer. I'm super bummed that we can't actually come together. We thought, gosh, we even talked about all kinds of things. Could we do something outside where people could socially distance? And ultimately, at the end of the day, I just felt like that wasn't responsible, right? At the end of the day, the last thing that I'm going to have is, some kind of something happens and people get sick and it gets traced back to Agent Appreciation Day. Wouldn't be much of an appreciation, right? That'd be kind of not great. So we are going to utilize Zoom. We're going to do something digital. We're going to do something virtual. And this is what it's going to look like this year. So first of all, we got door prizes for everybody that attends. So if you come to Agent Appreciation Day, you jump on for any length of time, say hi, boom, you're going to get a little gift. And we'll talk about what that is later. They're really cool. That is coming to everybody that just shows up. We're going to do 3 unique games, kind of some fun things that you can do, competitions, right? At the end of the game, whoever wins ultimately will get a really nice little prize. And then we also will have a drawing for a grand prize winner. You just have to be in attendance and there at the time of the drawing, which will be at the end. Figure that, I don't know, this probably takes 60 to 90 minutes. Somewhere in that range, maybe a little longer with some chatting and people just kind of hanging out and having a good time. The thing about Agent Appreciation Day is there's really 2 key components, right? This is me and the company saying, I really appreciate you guys. You guys do a lot for us. You do a lot for me. We work really hard to appreciate you, to make sure that you know and understand, hey, we know that the backbone of this company is our agents, and we appreciate the heck out of you guys. The second big component of this is community, right? Is being together and being able to socialize and being together. And that is difficult right now, right? But we want to bring people together. We do want to have some way to bring everybody. And so we're going to do that via Zoom because I think that's the best way that we can do that. Those dates are going to be Wednesday, the 23rd for Burien at 3 o'clock. We are going to do this office specific. So Burien, 3 o'clock Wednesday the 23rd, and Thursday the 24th for West Seattle, again at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, Burien on the 23rd, West Seattle on the 24th, doing the exact same thing. It's all exactly the same, and it's gonna be a great time. So please make a point to put that on your calendar and expect, again, I don't know, maybe 90 minutes. Also for those games, if you've got kids, if you've got a significant other, anybody in the house is gonna be able to help you win those games, right? So bring in some help. I don't know. I don't want to see anybody with a family of 20, right? They brought in all their relatives and they're like, hey, let's do this. The prizes aren't that great. They're good. They're not that good. Okay. So, all right. Sounds good. Let's go on to something else and someone else. Willie, you're here to talk to us about something to do with prosperity. I didn't even know about this, but I do have a PowerPoint for you. So I'm going to go to a share screen. I'm going to show what I got, and you let me know how to move about the cabin here. Let's see.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Can we see that?
Yes, I can. I think
Okay.
everybody else can too. So first of all, thanks for having me this morning. I think most of you know me by now, but just in case, my name is Willie Rogers. I'm the regional manager for Prosperity Home Mortgage, and I'm the guy who's responsible for the efforts throughout Oregon and Washington for the company. So a couple things. First of all, before I start the slideshow, and I'll make it quick because I know it's tight on time this morning, but I just wanted to thank everybody. You know, we've put some record numbers up this year, and most people would consider that, well, it's because of interest rates being so low and everybody's refinancing, so all mortgage companies are putting up big numbers. That's true, but the difference is that statistically throughout the country, most companies are doing 2/3 refinancing and 1/3 purchases at the moment due to the low interest rates, where Prosperity, especially in our region, is exactly opposite. We're doing 2/3 still purchases and only 1/3 refinances, and that is largely contributed to all of our Berkshire real estate agent referral partners. Is the main reason why we're still very, very much purchase oriented and putting up those type of numbers. So I just wanted to thank everybody who's using Prosperity, and for those that aren't, we would love to get a shot with you. So my really short slide is something that you all know. It's just more of a refresher and a reminder of, in today's competitive market, maybe a little tactic on how to get more offers accepted. As we go to the next one, Tay. So don't take this slide literally. If somebody fact checks me, this is probably going to be wrong, but I've just pulled up some statistics throughout the country on how many buyers actually pay cash for their home. And after just looking at a number of different real estate sites throughout the country, I came up with about 1 in 5 are paying cash. And these are the people who really buy by price, right? They're wondering what the price is. You know, what are they going to have to use of their liquidated funds to buy these properties? But that's only 1 in 5, so it's definitely the minority part of the market. Next one. Okay, so that means 80% on average are buying with a mortgage, and that means that they're really buying more by payment, what fits into their budget. And we're bombarded by this every day. You know, if we're buying cars, if we're buying furniture, if we're buying jewelry, what does everybody really, you know, put out there? So you can't even hardly lease a car or buy a car without seeing the payment way ahead of the price. I mean, this is how people buy most of their items today, is by, does it fit into my budget? Not so much of what the price is, but why and how does it fit into my budget? So they're buying more by payment, even though they don't really realize it. Next one. So my point here is that if you're talking all about price without really talking about the payment, you're really not addressing what your buyer's number one concern is. They may tell you it's the price, but it's really not. It's the payment if they're, you know, if they're not paying cash, if they're obtaining a mortgage. Next slide. Next one, Tay.
Yeah, I went to the next one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, the loan amount.
Okay, there we go. Yep. That's where we're looking.
Cool.
So so this is just a little bit of a screen that you can be able to share. So for instance, right now rates are give and take around 3%. Sometimes they're a little bit lower, a little bit higher, depending on credit score and stuff. But this just gives you an idea of how this interest rates affect a purchase price. So for instance, if you have somebody who's looking at let's just round it off that middle number of 469.5. Let's say it's 470,000. You have a buyer who's looking at a $470,000 house, and you know by talking to the listing agent that there's going to be multiple offers coming in on that property, and you're trying to get your buyer to realize that they need to make their highest and best offer immediately. Well, in this particular case, you could share with them that if they wait and postpone and don't make their highest and best and go through multiple properties, they run the risk of that interest rate going up. And literally, if that property is 470,000, for instance, they could pay up to 500,000 with the same payment at 3% as they could have if they wait and potentially run the risk of getting a rate that's 3.5%. So basically, this is just really letting them know, listen, you're talking about a $30,000 differential just in the interest rate and 0.5% in this particular case. So going up 10 or 15,000 to try to get your highest and best offer accepted may be less risky than waiting and playing this game of continually getting beat out on your offers and then run the risk of the interest rates going up on you in a few months. Next slide. So why should your buyers offer more now? Well, we're in an election year that's about to come to an end, right? And oftentimes election years have your lowest interest rates. And so here's a potential thing that you could share to show them that, hey, you're running a risk they could go up. Inflation, although it's still been low, is starting to show up again. So, the number one thing that the feds have to keep inflation under control is to raise interest rates. And according to Freddie Mac, the average interest rate in 2018 was 4.54, and in 2019 it was 3.94. So almost a full percent last year higher than it is today. And if you just went back to the slide, we don't have to, but the slide that we just had shows you what a huge differentiation that is of just a year ago of the purchasing power today. So there again, it kind of negates the worry of $10,000 or $15,000 of a higher offer when you really compare it to the risk of going back to interest rates just where they were last year. So next slide. So, where's the buyer? Is your buyer going to win this deal out of the multitude of offers that are coming in? I think this information if you kind of deep dive it versus just saying, hey, you're running a risk that interest rates are going to go higher, that shares some weight to your buyer. But if you really shared the numbers, the actual numbers, like the ones we just went over, that drives it to a whole new level of their understanding. Next slide. So by addressing the real concern of the payment instead of just the price, and showing how that's going to work into their budget and what it can potentially cost them by waiting, since we are in all-time low interest rates, I think that kind of would equate to more sales. Last slide. So, if you need some help working these numbers, if you're going out into a competitive situation and you want to try this, kind of bring these numbers to life, contact Kara and Mark. I mean, they're here not only as a loan officer, but they're here as a sales extension of your efforts when you're trying to get your offer accepted. So reach out to Kara and Mark, depending on what offer you are. They are here to help you actually formulate those numbers so that you can show your client, hey, 10, 15 grand could be a drop in the bucket to what you may lose by waiting. And you may wish that you would have secured the house you wanted now with just a slightly higher offer. It's not that big of a differential in the big picture. So that's just what I wanted to share with you this morning. I think most of you already knew that. You already had that concept, but sometimes we forget about things. And also getting the actual numbers versus just the vague notion, actually placing the numbers in front of them drives it home a little bit more. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for all the business. We really appreciate it. And if there's anything we can do for you, let us know. And I'm always available, as well as Mark and Kara too. I'm an extension of them. So any of you feel free to reach out to me at any time. Thanks,
Awesome.
Dave. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think that's a great reminder, right? The payment versus price. Payment versus price. What really is the pain point for the consumer? It's the payment. It's not generally the price. I think that's great. I do want to mention that y'all know that I moved in the last 6 months here, and of course I did use Prosperity for my mortgage, but I am getting my mortgage refied already because of the interest rates and what they've done in the last 6 months. And of course I'm doing that through Prosperity. What I want to emphasize, though, the thing that I want you to take away from this is that if I just bought 6 months ago and I'm refining today, if you have sold a house to someone in the last 6 months or a year, it's a great opportunity to reach out to your client and say, hey, I don't know, I don't remember the details of your loan, but interest rates are so low, you might want to refinance that. And you think that your client would really, really love you if you called and said, hey, you might want to talk to Mark or you might want to talk to Kara about refi. It literally, it's going to save me a $230 a month, and it's going to take me only, I think it was like 13 and a half months to recoup the cost. That's incredible. This is a no-brainer. It's an absolute, it's a guarantee, it's a lock-in, right? If you do that for your clients, God, they're going to love you. They're going to love you more than they do today, and they already love you, right? I don't know. Call them. Give them a try. Awesome. Okay. Presetting expectations, so important with your clients. I'm doing it with you right here, right now. I see the time, and we are definitely going to go close to noon today. Okay. We still have got some really cool stuff for you. So hang in there, stick around. It's good stuff. If it wasn't, I'd cut it out and we would do it next week. But just want to preset those expectations. I'm seeing the time, and we're going to need some more of it. So that being said, equity, where's equity? Kelly, what do you got today?
Well, good morning. Well, first of all, I just want to say congratulations to all of you who had many closings yesterday. When the cutoff time, just to let you know, for King County is 3:30, and we're seeing a lot more transactions bounce just because of slight errors. And the counties used to be able to work with us a little bit more. Now with the COVID and so many people working remotely, they're just doing the best they can. But anyways, at 3:30, we were 3,758 documents recorded just yesterday. So Tay, I can't wait for the stats to come out. So anyways, congratulations to you all that had great closings. And then last but not least, I just want to say happy Labor Day weekend, and to all your moms, I'm sending you lots of love for getting this homeschool thing going. My heart feels for you, Tay. That was great information you shared right before you went on vacation. I don't know where you got it, but I think that would be great to send out. Maybe that's something the brokers can use on their sphere. I checked with Nalani and I didn't know, because I'd love to get that as well. I thought you had some great insight on that.
Oh, good.
Space. And so wherever that research came from, I thought that would be great for the brokers to push it out to their SOI too.
I'll find that that article, and I will email it out, and I will CC you on it. And that sales meeting actually didn't get posted. Most of the sales meetings were posting for a little bit of time, but I didn't post that one. I might post 3 sales meetings today. Who knows? If you've missed sales meetings for a while, you might be really in luck. Okay, good. No, but great reminder, and actually a really good reminder, and I'm glad that you mentioned it, that some closings are pushing. I mean, it looks like you're going to close and everything looks good, and then all of a sudden it's not recording because things are just backed up. They just are. So right now it's really good to set your expectations with your clients and make sure that just because you release to record, boy, don't tell them that you're closed. You're not closed yet. Okay, good. Bill, we got to show this. This has got something to do with that homeschooling thing as well, right, Bill?
Yeah.
Bill sent me a video yesterday. Said, "Hey, I got to show this video and explain it." I think this is really, really interesting. So again, I'm going to pop back in. I'm going to show my screen, and I'm going to play this video, and I'm hoping that you'll all be able to hear it. I'm sure you will. But this is really interesting stuff. Here we go.
No pressure. They can make it work in Bellevue and Kent. Just need volume.
Huh? Can you not hear it?
I can hear it.
You can hear it through yours? You're not hearing it, Bill?
I don't hear it, but
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
You're not hearing it either.
Nope.
Technical difficulties. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Bill, just give a brief explanation of what this is, and I will email out the link to this, because this video is very interesting. I think everybody should check it out.
Yeah, the video's it's less than 3 minutes, but it has to deal with, if you've been following the news, there's a lot of factors going on. Homeschooling is one of them, like Tay mentioned. So, kids are at home. And also, if you have noticed, the dog shelters and the pet adoptions are at an all-time high. It's just like the housing market. There's no inventory. There are no dogs in the shelters. And so with all of these close quarters, people adopting dogs, they may not know the dogs, maybe first-time dog owners, dog bites are on the rise. And as they explain in the video, if a dog bites somebody in your own household member, your own insurance is going to cover that. Your medical insurance will cover that. But if I come onto your property and the dog bites me, that opens up a whole new can of worms like you could never believe. And one of the things that's interesting in the video, in the story, is that emergency room visits for dog bites are up substantially, like during COVID. And anybody have an idea what the average cost to treat a dog bite might be? When you get the insurance bill, what it might end up being?
How much is it, Bill?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. The average is almost $46,000. And that is up, I believe it's up about 20% from last year.
Shut the front door. No way.
Yes. And the reason being is it's because so many bites nowadays require plastic surgery. You think about it, the kids bend down, they'll see a dog, then maybe they're not familiar with the dog, or the neighbors come over and the kid bends down to pet the dog. They usually pet their nose, the snout, or the top of their head, and the dog will snap at them. And they're close proximity, and they usually go after, their eyes, around the eyes or on the cheeks or the lip. And that is like automatic plastic surgery. So it's a very unfortunate thing. And here's the thing. The last piece in the story, it said, most people, for their homeowners, their liability, they'll typically have $100,000 worth of coverage. And I will tell you that when I write a policy, our standards and minimums are $500,000. And the reason why we do that, because the difference between $100,000 and $500,000, which is $500,000, is like $7 a year. So it's like, why would you not go with the higher limit? So just watch the video. Like I said, I think it's 2 minutes and 47 seconds. It's really kind of interesting and timely, for what we're all kind of engaged with right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks,
No, I do think I think it is really timely. And I think a lot of us have heard, obviously the pet shelters are empty. There are a lot of folks with pups. But when I saw that, I just went, holy cow. And for $7 a year, adopt a pet and upgrade your insurance.
And raise your liability.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Let's get to my kind of last message of the day. Again, I would push this to next week because of time, but I think it's important and I think it's time sensitive. And I really want to encourage you all, if you have not done this already or something like this already, to jump on board. If you don't have a pen and paper close to you, please grab one. I'll give you 2 seconds. Grab a pen and paper. If you're an agent, you want to do this if you haven't already. So go grab that. I really want to take a moment to give us an opportunity to really get intentional, right? Let's really get intentional about what we're going to do and what this last quarter is going to look like for us. Like I said, 90 days really to get things under contract. But it's also 3-4 months to set the tone and to set the foundation for how you're going into 2021, right? It is really a great time to really get intentional about working on your business, not just in your business. In your business, right, is dealing with transactions and buyers and sellers. On your business is, what is that foundation? Are you set up? Are you set up to continue to bring business in and not do one of these in your business, right? Okay. Oh gosh. I mean, end of last week, Jason sent out a mindset thing. It said distance between your dreams and reality is called action. And I went, yeah, mindset, skill set, action. So I want to talk a little bit about action. And I want to encourage you all to do these 3 tasks that I'm gonna give you over the next week. And then next week in the sales meeting, we'll talk about what to do once we've accomplished those things. So that's why pen and paper are really, really handy right now. So first thing that I really encourage you to do is take a look, write down all of your sales from the last year, maybe even the clients that you're working with really intentively right now, right? If you got buyers that are out looking at houses, great, put them on the list. If you've got a listing that's listed, it's not closed, but it's listed, cool, put them on the list. Make a list of everybody that you have sold or that you are working diligently with right now in 2020. And then also make the list for 2019, all right? You're gonna get about 2 years of names, right? But separate them. 2020, 2019. And then next to the name of the client, just simply write where'd they come from, right? Is it SOI? Was it door knocking? Was it FSBOs? Was it, where did it come from, right? Just write it down. I think we got to really hone in and pay attention to where our business is coming from. Now, my guess is that the majority of you will find that the majority of your business comes from your SOI in some capacity, right? A friend referred a friend, that's SOI, right? Your friend used you, clearly SOI, right? Open house, not SOI, right? But the majority of your business is probably coming from the people that you know. And I really want to focus on, okay, how do we do better working with our SOI? This is simple. We already do it. We already get most of our business here, but there is a lot more that can be done with your SOI to gain a lot more business without being creepy or weird or anything like that. So I want to start us in the process. Now, those of you that are doing coaching with me, there's a little bit of extra, right? We're doing this, you've done this, you're somewhere in this process with me. But for those of you that haven't, this is the start of really working your SOI. The next thing that I want you to do is get out your Excel sheet. Hopefully you've got it in an Excel sheet with your SOI. Where do you have it? You have it in a Word document? I don't know. What was before Word? Anybody? I don't know. Paper, right? You got it written on paper? I don't know. Grab that out. Get it lined up. If you're like, I know some of you haven't looked at it in years. I know some of you haven't looked at it in months, and there's more that you could put into it, right? Maybe you did do this, 6 months ago, 12 months ago, 2 years ago. But in that time, you've had other sales, you've met new people. There maybe are people that you could add to that list. But I want you to grab your SOI and I want you to get it up to speed, okay? Don't put this off. We all know we're in this business, we should have an up-to-date, a reasonable working SOI. If you don't have all the contact information for every person, you don't have a name, address, phone number, and email for every single person, that's fine. But if you have some names in there that don't have contact information, but all you got to do is look in your phone because you have some of that, go fill it in, okay? Get it the best you can. Spend this week working on getting your SOI the best you can. And the third thing and the last thing that I want to challenge you to do is take that SOI. Once you've got it filled in and you've added people, maybe there's people you got to take off, right? That absolutely happens, right? Some folks, they were a buyer, they went away, you never heard from them in a year, cool, off the list, right? But grab your list, and I want you to do one last thing with it, and that is I want you to parson this off into 3 groups. Okay, your 1 group, your 2 group, your 3 group, your A, B, your A, B, and C group, however you want to look at it. And your first group, I want you to just take and number those or letter those A group. It should probably be anywhere between 5 and 8 or 10 people. Really shouldn't probably be more than that. These are the people that are your biggest fans. They love you to death. They think that you are the best realtor ever. And they're social enough that they would share that, right? Some of us have family members or significant others or best friends that think you're the best thing ever, but they might not have the personality that would ever really want to share it or say that to a stranger. That's just not who they are, and that's totally fine. They're probably not your A group. Your A group is people that love you. They stand on the street corner and shout, Bruce Butterfield all the way, right? These are your best. Yeah, exactly, Bruce. So these are your best folks. These are people that are going to refer you a lot. We're going to treat those a little bit differently than the people that you are really more passive about, right? So that's your A group, okay? Just letter them, A. Then take the next group, the B group, okay? B group is people that you've done transactions for before, people that if you were top of mind at the moment, they would refer you, right? They might not stand on a street corner and yell and scream how great you are, but they like you and they would use you and they're a great resource for you. And that's your B group. It'd probably be, 25 to 35% of the total list, right? If you got 200 people, that might be 60, okay? Something like that. Now, the third group is just the rest of the people, right? The rest of the people on your SOI. These are people that know you, you know them. They probably know that you're in the business. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. They should, right? Because a secret agent is a starving agent. We've heard this, right? So that third group are people that you're going to touch in a different way. Each of these groups of people you're going to touch consistently, but in a different way and a different amount of times a year, okay? So for the rest of this, you're going to have to tune in next week and we'll talk about what exactly we're going to do with those groups. But you've got some homework to do because I believe out of 48 people, I've dropped some people. Some people are like, yeah, not for me, Tay. I'm done. I'm out of here today. And that's okay. I get it. But we have got 47 people in here right now, and I guarantee that a good chunk of us don't have our SOI completely in a good space, or we haven't looked at it in a long time, or whatever it is. So grab that out, take these 3 tasks, figure out who your business was in the last 2 years, where they came from, right? That's one task. One task is to get your SOI out and get it honed in, get it looking pretty good, right? Get it solid, dust it off. And the third thing is to A, B, and C that list. Those are your tasks. That is what I'm challenging you to do for the next week. And so hopefully you'll have a chance to do that. And next week at the sales meeting, we will talk about the next step. What are we going to do with that? I hope you take me up on this challenge, because I think there's some great stuff in your future if you do. Awesome. That is it for that. Let's do the Warren and the Buffy, and we'll do new and price reduced, and then we will be done. The Warren, the Buffy, let's see. The Buffy is going to Andrea Brittingham. Oh my goodness. Andrea has a brand new agent, well, brand new, good few months, but really has been doing a ton of stuff on social media. I think she maybe has gotten this award before, but she just directing stuff to her website, has just gotten another new client that she, came through on the website. You never know, right? Sent them through Kara, got them pre-approved, and they're out looking at houses through her website just by directing traffic there. Great resource. Andrea, we're going to have you share one of these days what you're doing to drive business to your social media and to your website, because you are getting a lot of traction. Congratulations. Really well done there. The Warren this week is going to go to Ray Hillstrom. Ray is got some serious energy, guys. He is back and he is going after it. He's in the office all the time, but he and I have been speaking a lot lately. And I just want to say, just really impressed. You know that I feed off of your energy, and when you guys are going hard, I really enjoy it. It is great, and I am going to roll that energy wave just as long as I can. Ray, congratulations, well earned on the Warren for this week. With that, we'll go ahead and stop the recording here. And